Hi, I'm David Dodge. Welcome to Green Energy Futures. Roger Gagne cares about the environment and is worried about the impacts of climate change and Alberta's economic future.
My name's Roger Gagne, and I'm, among other things, I'm the founder of the Climate Plan Alberta website, where 84 organizations have signed on and said, yes, we need a strong new climate plan for our province. And I've been an environmentalist for virtually all my life, but about 15 years ago, I started to zero in on climate.
Gagne's written articles, scads of letters, and he created a website. He's even sponsored speakers at conferences, but he's frustrated by a lack of engagement and action on climate change.
I care a lot about our economy. I care about people's houses being devastated by hailstorms in Northeast Calgary. Twice in the past 5 years, we've had hailstorms that caused each of them over $1 billion in damage. It horrifies me that we have wildfires that are burning hotter and wiping out communities.
And then Gagne started what he calls the Sign Project, inspired by the meme of a guy holding a sign in a park that ends with, "Change my mind."
My new sign says sort of a declarative statement. The world is moving away from fossil fuels. Alberta's getting caught badly off guard. Am I wrong? So I still wanted to have that openness. I want to hear people's opinions. Like, I'm the sixth of 7 children. By the time I came along, my parents were pretty busy, and I grew up feeling ignored. I don't like feeling ignored, and I try hard not to ignore other people. And if we're going to change people's hearts and minds, we have to hear them. We have to hear what they care about, hear what they're worried about. And for some people, that means, oh my God, I work in oil and gas, and I like my well-paying job, and I don't want to lose it. And you're talking about something that threatens that. So, yeah, like it was largely seeing that guy, that Facebook picture with that guy all the time, and that just kind of plugged in that there must be a way to get out there. Whereas with my sign project, I kind of get out in people's faces, everyone's faces, everyone who gets out on a public walkway or on a public sidewalk or takes a C train, and oh, there's that guy. What does that sign mean? So I just think it's a really unique and useful tool to get into people's brains and get them thinking about climate change and the energy transition.
Roger Gagne lives in the oil capital of Canada, so he took his sign and cycled to the belly of the beast, Bow Valley Square in downtown Calgary. There he stood with his sign.
Everywhere I go, I get a lot of curious glances. I get a few thumbs up. I get a couple or a few conversations. And every once in a while, I get someone who tells me to F off. There was one guy who walked up to me. There were hundreds of oil and gas workers passing me. That's their home base, office towers with oil and gas all around. So one guy walked up to me, first words out of his mouth, "You're a moron." And then he started asking me questions, but every time I started to answer, he would talk over me. Finally, when he did let me answer, the article by Reuters News, for instance, or when I quoted the Foreign Policy Research Institute in Philadelphia that said, Vladimir Putin may someday be called Putin the Green, the man who convinced Europe to get off of fossil fuels. I said these things, and this guy says to me, your sources are wrong. So, I don't think I'm going to change his mind, but he'll never change his mind as long as he's feeling entrenched, defensive, attacked. So even he has to be heard out. And meanwhile, there's an audience, right? There were a couple people around there, and they get the chance to look at this and go, oh, who seems more sane? Who seems more credible?
He often cites articles on energy transition, such as one on how Vladimir Putin and Russia have inspired Europe to do everything they can to get off natural gas.
Because we have such a bubble around us in Alberta. Premier Smith can say something like, we're a natural gas province and we're going to stay a natural gas province. So the same month that she said that, Reuters News reported that globally there were 68 gas-fired power plants that were planned for construction, and they were canceled because they could not compete on cost with solar plus batteries.
Since then, Gagne's taken his sign to many other towns and cities in Alberta. No matter how you feel about the issue, Gagne certainly deserves a thumbs up for courage. Learn more at GreenEnergyFutures.ca. For Green Energy Futures, I'm David Dodge.